What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Tuning in on our weekly live shows this Wednesday as we have a loaded live show to get to, as maybe Paul Allen, Vikings play-by-play announcer, did he leak the Vikings draft plans? We'll dive into that on today's show. And then also Vikings brass, Kwesi, Mark Wilf, and Kevin O'Connor, they all talked about the Vikings draft plans. So we'll dive into that as well. But let's just start it off by showing off your purple pride down in the comments section. Give me a skull as we let the audience build up here. We got Boris in the chat. Get the bag. Skull Nation. Shout out to you. He was in here early. Summer. Ty Man the Buckeye. Roger Skull. Matt Sonnen, and Nick Smith. Get the bag. All the real ones are in the chat. Same with Erman Meyer in the chat as well. It's Skull Nation saying Skull Seeps. Shout out to you, Skull Nation. Kevin in the chat as well. Type in Skull. If you guys are in the chat right now and you guys love the Minnesota Vikings, make sure you guys type those skulls. As Mr. Rick is saying Skull and Purple Peeps. Yeah, Mr. Rick. I don't know if we're going to be trying any peeps today on the show, but hey, who knows? Maybe somebody sends in a super chat. We might have to. But before we dive into everything I want to get to on today's show, I do want to give a big-time shout-out to Game Time. They're sponsoring today's live edition of Vikings Now. And Game Time is the best ticket purchasing app out there. And if you guys use code CHATSPORTS, you guys will get $20 off your first purchase. They got killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, and it's their best price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. And some of the things I love about Game Time is the flash deals. They got zone deals, and it's super easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. And the best part is when you pull up the app on your phone and you're looking to buy a ticket, you can actually see the view they have from those seats. So it's killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seats, and their best price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. I absolutely love using Game Time. You guys will too. Make sure you guys download the app. Use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, let's kick it to this now. I want you guys to get down in the comment section and pick a quarterback for me. I put the live poll as this question as well, and I had JJ McCarthy, Jayden Daniels, and Drake Maye. Those are the three likely options to be the quarterback for Minnesota last year. And a lot of you guys are split between McCarthy and Maye, but then we also got a camp around Jayden Daniels, and I will talk about Daniels here on today's show as he had his pro day, and the Vikings had a ton of members of their front office there. But Matt is going JJ in the chat. Nick Smith is going JM or DM, or JD or DM. Nick, I'm assuming you're saying that. So, and Ty Man's going JJ. Urban Meyer's going JM. Nighttime going DM. After Party going JJ. Joel Huddleston going DM. Tristan going DM. And my take on kind of the quarterback spot, you guys I've said this. I think, the second best quarterback in this year's class will be whoever the hell the Minnesota Vikings land, because I think 50% of this is landing spot. But if I had to pick best fit for Minnesota, it's either JJ McCarthy or Drake Maye. And, I've been leaning JJ McCarthy over the last couple of weeks because you wouldn't have to give up as much draft capital to go up and get him. And I just think, he would have an ability, or he would have the ability to sit behind Sam Darnold for a year, kind of really still come into his own, put on some more muscle, get under the tutelage of Kevin O'Connor. So, I'd probably go JJ McCarthy, but man, Drake Maye would be a home run prospect, and I wouldn't hate for the Vikes to get him at all. And it kicks me to this question. Who is your guys' NFL comparison for Drake Maye? I like the Justin Herbert, the Josh Allen comparison. So I want you guys to get down in the comment section right now. Let me know who your NFL comparison is for Drake Maye. Do not say Justin Herbert. That'll be the one tidbit of today's show. I like the Josh Allen comp. I actually kind of see he's kind of like a bigger armed, more athletic Andy Dalton. Like, I've been looking at Andy Dalton, actually reminds me of JJ McCarthy a little bit, but Jay Cutler is a great one for Drake Maye. I love that comparison. Andrew Luck, that's a rich comparison for Maye, but I like that one as well, coming in from Austin Jackson. Boris saying Josh Allen, Urban Meyer saying Ricky Bobby, Ray Emmer saying Jordan Love. I've heard that comparison. I like it a lot. They actually had, if you look at their tapes when Jordan Love was coming out, and Drake Maye coming out. Very similar kind of pros, weaknesses. Big time arm, needs to get better in the pocket, needs to get better, just overall pocket presence. But I do like that comparison, and get the bag coming in saying whoever comes to Minnesota just has to be good. They don't have to be elite or great, but I think if they're good enough, the Vikings will be contenders to make a deep playoff push. I agree. The Vikings have really set themselves up to have a complete roster around whatever rookie quarterback does get in here. You have the ability to sit a rookie quarterback, and then once that rookie quarterback's ready to go, maybe TJ Hawkinson's back in the lineup. You're going to have three great weapons in Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson. You got the two bookend tackles and Kevin O'Connell as well. So I had somebody saying Mitch Trubisky from Drake Maye. Probably not. Probably not too similar, but North Carolina, you never know. Skull Nation saying, everybody keeps hating on us. Why did CBS and MMG put our offseason at a C-? And I think that's just because of losing Kirk Cousins. I'm not really putting too much stock into what other publications are saying about the Vikings offseason, because they didn't necessarily see the plan that I had, or that we all see with the Vikings, moving forward, that, getting a bunch of dogs on defense, adding an Aaron Jones, moving off Kirk, obviously is going to make the Vikings not as good as they would be next season, but shit, man, moving on in the future, they're going to be way better. Now, if you guys do want to get your last chance, we are doing our March raffle here on the channel, where we are going to be auctioning off a pretty sweet giveaway item for every $10 super chat. This is the last live show you guys can get involved. They're going to be doing the auction next live show next Wednesday on the channel during this little build-up section. So if you guys want to get in on the show, make sure you guys send in a $10 super chat. We'll sign your name on the board. I'm saying it today. We're going to start signing names on this board, or this side of the board right here. So $10 super chat gets you guys involved. You want to show them a picture of it real quick, what we're giving away here on the channel. This is it. So every $10 super chat, we are going to get your name in a raffle. We're going to auction this off next week. This thing is freaking awesome. Put it on your bedside. Put it as a little desk toy. You can spin it around. It's got no strings there, so it's like a floating Vikings helmet. But $10 super chat, you get your name on the board. And also, you guys will get a ticket to enter to win that. But also, if you guys got a question on today's show, we're going to have it in a mailbag on the later half, probably in about 35 minutes or so. So if you guys want to get your name up on the screen, get your question up on the screen, make sure you guys use hashtag Vikings. Or if you want to cut the line and really take over the show, if you guys send in a super chat, you guys will get up on the show. So really appreciate if you guys could show some support to the channel, and also just get your questions up there. I love breaking it down with you guys. Is Roger Bong is coming in there and saying, love me first, Skull all. Hey, Roger, shout out to you. Sorry about the debacle with the shipping department, man. That's it just really seems like whoever is running, I don't know what shipping department is doing there and trying to get that out to you guys. But yeah, Roger, we appreciate it, man. Shout out to you. We gave him that ball you see as his profile pic early on this season. So, Roger, thank you so much for showing support. But again, guys, if you guys want to get your questions in on the show, hashtag Vikings. We'll have a mailbag answering questions from you guys here in a second. Is Matt showing them right? Yeah, USP or UPSP. Yeah, they are USPS. They are doing my man Roger Bong dirty right now. So hopefully we'll get that to you soon. As Kevin said, Matt Stafford is comp for Drake Maye. I like that as well. But coming up on the show, so Paul Allen, Vikings play-by-play, Vikings announcer, he kind of leaked, I think, if the Vikings have a done deal and already a handshake agreement to trade up in the NFL draft. So we're going to talk about that. And then all types of members from the Vikings front office, Kevin O'Connell, they all talked about the NFL draft. So we're going to give you guys that update there. And then also Justin Jefferson. Kevin O'Connell talked about him. Is an extension getting done soon? Charlie Walters, who covers his football team, he had a report on what a contract could look like for number 18. So we'll get to that here in about 35 minutes. Then also a mailbag coming your guys' way. So send in a super chat if you want your question up on the show, or just use hashtag Vikings in the comment section. And we're at 45 likes right now. If we get 5 more likes on today's show, we will get ready to rock here. 4 more likes and we'll dive into it, because I think Paul Allen may have leaked something for the Minnesota Vikings. So tune in for that. It's going to be a fun little first segment to dive into. Here's Urban Meyer saying that would be hype. Yes, no doubt it would be. But we need 3 more likes, and then we'll get going on today's show as Paul Allen may have already came out with some information regarding the Vikings draft. As there we go, 61 likes. So shout out to you guys. I really do appreciate it. As Eric Mott is saying, you and Purple for the Win are my go-to for Vikes info. Hey, I appreciate that. Purple for the Win does great work over there. He grinds, man. Puts out a ton of videos every single day. So, shout out to him. He does great work, man. He was an inspiration for me when I started my own Vikings YouTube channel about 4 years ago at this point. So, yeah, shout out to him. He does great work. But Trace, you're ready. We're gonna dive into this leaked report from Paul Allen. Let's do it. Did Paul Allen just leak the Vikings draft plans? What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. On today's show, do the Vikings have a handshake deal with a team to trade up in this year's draft? Let's talk about it and kick it to Paul Allen because he had this to say a couple days ago on the Vikings draft plans. He says those 2 picks and whatever else are going to be used for a QB very high in the first round. I also believe they have a metaphorical verbal handshake with somebody. I happen to think it's 5 with the LA Chargers, more so than 4. And my reaction was this was just the eyeball emojis because Paul Allen came out and pretty much said if the Vikings can't trade up to get pick number 2, pick number 3, he believes they already have a handshake deal, whether that's with the Arizona Cardinals, Los Angeles Chargers, to trade up in this year's draft. We'll get to more of that in a second. But first, guys, we are in a sub battle with our Falcons Today show here at Chat Sports. If you guys want to help me out and stay up to date on the latest around your Minnesota Vikings and this year's draft, hit that sub button, lock us in. Maybe we can hit 24,200 subs just off this video. Hey, they took our quarterback, but I'm not trying to lose in this sub battle. So lock us in as your go-to Vikings YouTube channel, and let's talk about what Paul Allen had to say. So do the Vikings have a deal done to move up in this year's draft? Let's talk about it. So Paul Allen necessarily said that he believes that they have a handshake deal to trade up with either pick number 4 or pick number 5. And all I have to say is to the Vikings front office is you guys got to be careful if you are going all in on pick number 5, which Paul Allen thinks they will do so. Because let's just say you send all the draft capital up to the Los Angeles Chargers, pick 11, pick 23, that leaves the door open to a team like the Denver Broncos, the Las Vegas Raiders, even a team like the New York Giants to trade up and jump them. And then also Sean Payton had this to say about Denver possibly trading up. He says, I think that's realistic. I think it's realistic. What's hard to predict, though, is what's on the receiving end. I think it's a good day to be Monty today at Arizona, Monty being the Cardinals GM. So it's hard to predict what that cost is, and yet I certainly wouldn't say it's unrealistic. He says we will pay close attention to it. And listen, guys, if the Vikings want to go get their guy, they can just go up and get them. I really do believe the Vikings have the most ammunition, the most draft capital, the best offer they could send to a team, either picking 2, 3, 4, or 5. And yes, the Denver Broncos, if they want to throw in Pat Surtain, cornerback, they could definitely do so. And maybe they make their offer a little better than the Minnesota Vikings. But the Vikings can send either, let's just say they want to go up to get pick 2 or 3, they can send them multiple first-round picks and even more future draft capital. But even if it's trading up with the Cardinals, they can send 11, 23, and maybe even more to go get maybe a guy like JJ McCarthy. And that's why I think the Vikings have 2 options here. They got the all-in choice where they are sending 3+ first-rounders and maybe an extra 3rd-round pick and an extra 4th-round pick. And they're going up and getting a guy like Drake Maye at either pick number 2 or pick number 3. Or they have the secondary option, which is still a pretty all-in move. You're sending multiple first-round picks to go draft Michigan quarterback JJ McCarthy. I am leaning more likely, just like Paul Allen said, that they have a handshake deal with either the Los Angeles Chargers or the Arizona Cardinals to go trade up. And Ben Gosling, who covers the Minnesota Vikings, even had more juice to suggesting that they already have a deal done. This is what he had to say. He says, I think the Cardinals have to be where you look first in terms of trading up. If you're picking QB4, you're not the only team that is going to be in the market for that player. The Broncos, I think, are going to be exploring the possibility of a move up. And listen, don't risk it, Minnesota Vikings front office members. Do not take the chance of, let's just say you make this deal right now. We get that notification, oh my God, the Vikings are getting the 5th pick in this year's draft class. You are just asking for a team to slide in there, trade multiple first-round picks to go trade up with the Arizona Cardinals and go get their guy. I think the Vikings are in a great spot, and honestly the best spot out of any team to go up and get their quarterback. But let's just say they're sitting there at 5, and then some team trades up to 4, and then it goes quarterback, 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 quarterback. What are the Vikings going to do with that 5th pick? Are you going to go take Marvin Harrison? Are you going to go take one of these top tackles? Or are you going to say F it and still take a quarterback? All I have to say is if you have a guy that you really believe is going to be a franchise quarterback, if it takes an extra 3rd rounder to move up to 4 instead of 5, just do it. Do not take the risk. I just beg of you, because it would be a disaster if we're sitting there on draft night and the first 4 quarterbacks are gone, and then the Vikings are sitting there at pick 5 saying, what the hell are we going to do? But I want to ask you guys this. In terms of trading up for a quarterback, I feel like it's more likely than not going to be JJ McCarthy, just because I think the Commanders and Patriots are most likely going to stay on to picks number 2 and number 3. But would you trade up for the Michigan quarterback? Give me a T for trade or give me a P for pass down in the comment section. I'm still probably typing my T's for trade, because no matter what, the Vikings need to come out of this year's draft with a QB, and a guy like JJ McCarthy would be a great choice. But let me know your thoughts down below. Coming up next year, we did have Kevin O'Connell drop 2 interesting quotes around JJ McCarthy and Jayden Daniels, and I want to share those quotes with you guys here in a second. But first, I got to give a big-time shout-out to today's sponsor, and that is Game Time, the best ticket purchasing app out there. And when it comes to buying tickets, you shouldn't have to worry when you buy tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Some stuff I love about Game Time is when you actually go in the app and choose your seat, you can literally see the view right there in the app. I think it's a great kind of little addition, because it makes you not have to worry if you're going to get blocked off by a random pole in the stadium or whatever it may be. Game Time allows you to view your seat from the app. It's the lowest price guaranteed, and you get event cancellation protection and job loss protection. So make sure you guys get hooked up today. Use code CHATSPORTS, and we'll give you guys 20% off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I'll put that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show. So let's talk about it. Let's see what KOC Vikings head coach had to say about JJ McCarthy and Jayden Daniels, and I absolutely loved what he had to say about the Michigan quarterback when he said this. He says, when you turn on JJ's 3rd down tape, so only talking about 3rd downs here with McCarthy, you see pretty high level production. And what does that normally lead to? Winning football games. JJ's got some really strong tape, and this guy is a winner. And my overall gut is telling me right now, the Vikings want JJ McCarthy. Maybe it's smoke. Maybe it's just a bunch of BS rumors that they want to go up and get Drake Maye to kind of maybe lessen their offer that they would have to give up to trade up to pick 4 or pick 5. But my gut is telling me that they want JJ McCarthy really bad, and they're probably going to have to trade up to pick 4 or 5, because I've seen a couple mock drafts that said that maybe McCarthy could fall to 11. I just disagree. But in terms of next team odds for JJ McCarthy, you'll find the Vikings at the top of this list as they're a minus 110. Keep this in mind. Before the report came out from Tom Pelissero that many believe that the Commanders could take JJ McCarthy at pick number 2, the Vikings were actually minus 135. So it dropped a little bit back to minus 110, and now the Commanders are in second at plus 350. But then you got the Giants there at pick number 6 at plus 350 as well. Denver as a trade-up candidate at plus 750. And then the Patriots. Something tells me at pick number 3, maybe New England will be trying to land the Michigan quarterback once again. But let's talk about some more JJ McCarthy stats here and kind of relaying it back to what Kevin O'Connell had to say about him playing on 3rd down. Now, in terms of all percentage of passes thrown last season, JJ had the highest percentage on 3rd down and long. Obviously, we know Michigan was a run-first team on 1st and 2nd down. Obviously on third down, they're throwing the ball a whole lot more. But 17.8% of his passes came on third and long. In comparison to other quarterbacks, Drake Maye at 14, Williams at 13, Penix at 12, Bo Nix at 11, and Jayden Daniels at 10. And a lot of casual fans automatically see this and they go, well, even on third downs, Michigan was running a lot of check downs. They were running a lot of screen plays. There was a lot of throws to the flats, and frankly, that's just not the case because JJ McCarthy was pushing the ball downfield all the time on these long third down situations, and this is what Dynasty Factor, he does a ton of great work in terms of evaluating quarterbacks in the NFL draft. Because somebody asked him, they said, who is the lowest yards per attempt on third and long in this year's class? He said actually not McCarthy. It was McCarthy that led the pack in air yards per attempt. So on third and long situations, he had an average air attempt of 13.1. In comparison, it was only 6.4 for Michael Penix, 8.2 for Williams, 8.8 for Maye, 10.7 for Daniels, and 11.9 for Nix. This whole narrative that JJ McCarthy doesn't like to push the ball downfield, he can't get it done in third and long, I think it's the worst narrative out there on him. If you want to say, yes, he was carried by the rest of his roster in winning these games, and he wasn't the driving force, I totally get that. But in terms of him, his ability to push the ball downfield and just convert third and longs, he might be one of the best in this year's draft class. Now, talking about Jayden Daniels here, this is what Kevin O'Connell had to say, because somebody asked him, can he throw in the pocket? Because we've heard the report, or we've heard kind of the speculation that Jayden Daniels, he's just that playmaker. He can't stand in the pocket and deliver strikes down the field. Well, no, this is what Kevin O'Connell had to say. He said, no, I think he absolutely can. I think he's proven that. And when you really dive into his tape, that's one of the exciting things about a player like Jayden Daniels. And it just kind of let me kind of get this light bulb going off in my head, and maybe a little bit of a conspiracy here, but what if all this talk about Drake Maye, JJ McCarthy, that the Vikings are in love with those two prospects, what if it's just all a smokescreen to land Jayden Daniels? What if this is their number one guy? What if they want to keep that LSU connection and have Jayden Daniels throwing to former LSU Tiger Justin Jefferson? Something to keep your eyes out on. But also, Ian Rappaport had this coming out today. So LSU is doing their pro day today when you guys are seeing this video. And he has some visits with some teams here. And he's meeting with the Patriots, Commanders, Giants, Vikings, Broncos, and Raiders. Probably the 6 teams that are most likely to draft a quarterback. And my old take with Jayden Daniels, he's a great quarterback. I think he would really fit well in the Kevin O'Connell system. He can throw the ball over the middle of the field incredibly well. And hey, I don't put a lot of juice in the pro days, but from what I've seen so far, the dude's got a cannon. He can make every throw in the book, touch every blade of grass on the football field. I would be absolutely thrilled if the Vikings landed the LSU quarterback, but I would honestly be thrilled if the Vikings landed any of these quarterbacks. And you guys got to let me know. Pick a QB for me. You're Kwesi right now. You're sitting there. I'll just say at pick 2. Give you guys the pick of the litter. Give me a JJ for JJ McCarthy. Give me a JD for Jayden Daniels. Or give me a DM for Drake Maye. Now, I do want to say thank you guys so much for showing support on the channel over the past couple of weeks. We just hit 24,000 subscribers, but I don't want to stop there. I want to reach 25K. So if you guys haven't already, lock us in as you go to Vikings YouTube channel and hit that sub button. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes. We had some super chats rolling in during our cut right there. Appreciate you guys being patient with me. Tristan D coming in. Everybody give me a Skol Tristan down in the comment section. He says, if a trade doesn't happen this week, I believe it will happen draft night. And Tristan, I see what you're saying there. I just think the Vikings would be playing with fire, waiting all the way until draft night to make this deal. Because what if they wait all the way until then, and then it's like, oh, Denver trades up to, pick 4. And then you're sitting there and you got to be like, okay, well, now we have to throw a Godfather offer to the Commanders or the New England Patriots, and then just kind of hope that they agree to those terms, because they are obviously in a need for a quarterback. But Tristan, I appreciate it. I'm hoping it's going to get done, hopefully pretty soon here. But, hey, we might be waiting until draft night and might get a last-second trade up, and that would just be freaking insane. But Christopher Wilson coming with $1 super chat supporting the show. I appreciate you, Christopher. Shout out to you. Showing support. See you commenting on the videos a lot. So, I really do just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to today's live show here. And then we also had Skolger, a real one on the channel. Skolger, I definitely already have your name on here. Yes, I do. Appreciate you always chopping up with me on Twitter as well, and just showing support on the channel. But if you have any questions or comments you want to get up on screen, just let me know down in the comment section. But I appreciate you sending in a $20 super chat. And then Christopher coming back with a 5 saying, make the move now. Not one of the 2025 QBs would be in the top 6 in this year's draft. And yeah, I think that's just more ammunition and reasoning for the Vikings to move up. Because let's just say they sit there and they don't want to move up and, they're saying we can get our guy in next year's draft class. We don't have a second for next season, and you already have 2 firsts for this season. So I think if they're going to make a move in either draft, it's definitely going to be this one. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, you can't wait till next year. The time now is to strike and get in a QB. But coming in with another 2 right here, my man Solusk, I think that's how you say it. He says, had May in Madden 24. Yeah, I gotta hop on Madden and put some of these rookie quarterbacks in the Vikings offense and just start playing with them just to, see the feel for it. But yeah, I love that out of you. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Thank you so much. But yeah, with all those super chats coming in, we are still doing our raffle. This is the last time to get on the show. We're going to do the raffle next week on our live show. Every $10 super chat that has came in this month will get you 1 raffle ticket. So last call of this show, and we'll also sign your name on the Hall of Fame board. Who's going to be the first person to join this side of the board today? Whoever it may be, first $10 super chat, or next $10 super chat that comes in will do so. And also, guys, mailbag coming up after this next segment where we're going to be talking about the Vikings brass. Just talking about the NFL draft. They had a ton of interesting quotes, so I do want to get to those and just share them with you guys. We got Michael Peterson in the chat saying skull, skull, skull. We got Rafa in the chat as well. Josh Williams, Rocky. Yeah, Rocky, they did. They did make that deal before the NFL draft last season. Oh, yeah, Roger, you already sent one in. I didn't know if you wanted to be on both sides. But, Roger, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sign you right above my name. Shout out to Allie Barefoot for making this. Roger, you're going on right there. Roger Bong and Seeps, shout out to you. There you go, Roger. Appreciate you always tuning in and showing love. Patrick Siepman, I love that. Ty Man saying I want to be on both sides. I love it, Ty Man. I love it. Hey, maybe somebody sent in a 10 to get you on, Ty Man. We could just do so. Also, I sent out your fan cave a couple days ago, so hopefully it's coming to you shortly. But coming up, we're going to be talking about the Vikings brass and what they had to say around the Minnesota Vikings. We got no rumors, no reports to break down on today's show. We are just talking facts and quotes from the Vikings front office as they have had a ton to say over the past couple of days on their plans to move up in the NFL draft. Kevin O'Connell, we got Mark Wilf, we got the whole 9 on the Vikings front office and what they are saying about their draft plans. But I want to get you guys involved here early on today's show. Just want to get the pulse of the fan base a little bit. Do you trust Vikings GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah? If you do, it's simple. Just drop a like on today's show. But if you don't, and you're a little skeptical on his draft plans, I want you to comment why in the comment section down below. But if you guys support the man, you guys trust his plan, just give me a like and show him some support. Well, let's talk about it. Kevin O'Connell on the NFL draft. That's when we first breaking down because I love kind of hearing it from the horse's mouth himself because we can have all this speculation on who we want as the next Vikings quarterback. But if we start reading quotes, start connecting some dots here, reading some tea leaves, I think we can figure it out. We got some very interesting quotes from KOC that we'll dive into right now. So this is what Kevin O'Connell had to say on the entire 2024 draft class. He says, I do think it's a good class of QBs this year. And something that we've really had our eye on, I know here in Minnesota long before this process started. Just knowing the types of players that would be available at that position. And there's no doubt the Vikings have had their eyes on this draft class probably even dating back before next season because they knew Kirk Cousins was going to be a free agent and he could end up moving on. So the Vikings, they probably had kind of a couple of players in their scouting or a couple of members of their scouting department fully shift their attention to selecting a QBs in next year's class. And then he also had this to say as well about this year's draft class. He said, if you end up falling in love with multiple QBs in the draft, that's even a better thing. When we acquired another first-round pick that gave us some flexibility, and this is a very deep draft. And my thought when I heard that was, what if the Vikings just want to stay at pick 11 and pick 23? And what if their thought process was instead of using this extra first-round pick that they got from the Houston Texans and not to move up, but to just get another prospect. Like, what if they love Jerzon Newton or one of the D tackles from Texas and they wanted that kind of pick to be the way that they solidify their defensive line? What if that was their plan instead of trading up? Honestly, we've heard countless reports around Minnesota that they are obviously trading up in this year's draft, but you never know. It could all be a smokescreen. We don't know what Kwesi's thinking. We don't know what Kevin O'Connell's thinking. We don't know what Mark and Ziggy Wilf are thinking. What if they are planning on sitting there and maybe taking a quarterback at 23 like Michael Penix, like a Bo Nix, like maybe the Vikings throw us a huge curveball and they go get that Quinion Mitchell guy from Toledo, the lockdown corner, I think is CB1 in this year's class. And then in the second, or with the 23rd pick, what if they go Jerzon Newton, one of the Texas D tackles, and then in the third round, maybe they say, screw it, we're going to go get a guy like Spencer Rattler. I think all options are on the table. This is kind of a wild one, and I don't think this is the most likely one, but you never know, guys. It is definitely smokescreen season here in the off season. But I do want to get to this on what Kevin O'Connell had to say about in terms of a quarterback fitting into his offense. He says, our passing game thrives off accuracy, rhythm, and timing. Some of those are some of the traits that show up on these guys' tapes. You get really excited about that. But it's also about toughness, football intelligence, the leadership traits I'm looking for to take what I believe is one of the strongest locker rooms in the NFL and take it to an even better place. That's a dynamic person you're talking about. And when I heard that last part of the quote, the one quarterback I was thinking about was JJ McCarthy. I think in terms of, the locker room side of things, being a leader, like JJ McCarthy, all the intangibles you talk about, McCarthy's number one in this year's draft class. But what Kevin O'Connell said at the first part of that quote about getting a quarterback that can just execute the offense the best, that guy reminds me of Drake Maye, a guy who can get the ball out on time and out on target, make every throw you ask of him, and even have that mobile ability when the play breaks down to go play a little backyard football and make something happen. So, in terms of best fit, I couldn't decide on one. I think it's either one of these two guys, either McCarthy or Maye. But again, just trying to read the dots here on what Kevin O'Connell had to say. But he did talk about Sam Darnold, and I wanted to share this quote because I thought it was pretty awesome. And, I'm not fully out on Sam Darnold being a solid quarterback for Minnesota. He says, Sam Darnold was a guy that jumped out to me personally, and I've evaluated him at different points of his QB journey. I can't wait to get to working with him, and I think his best football is ahead of him, and I agree, because you're going to be playing with the best offense you've ever played with in your NFL career. Obviously, you can make an argument San Fran was pretty loaded last year, but he never really got a full crack at it. But him throwing to Justin Jefferson, throwing to Jordan Addison, throwing to TJ Hawkins, and now having a run game in Aaron Jones, and obviously you have a great offensive mind in Kevin O'Connell. I think the best is yet to come from Sam Darnold. I think a breakout season could happen. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility that Sam Darnold, even if they go get a Drake Maye or JJ McCarthy, and their plan is to start him right away, what if Sam Darnold doesn't allow that to happen? Because, guys, I think a lot of people think this dude is 32 years old and just written up as a bust. He's 26. He's been in the NFL for a decent amount. He's gotten a ton of smart tutelage and smart teaching from the San Francisco 49ers next season. And with what the Vikings are going to be able to offer him, don't rule out Sam Darnold. Maybe this is a season where he plays really well, and his future may not be in Minnesota, and it may be somewhere else. But man, the dude's 26, and he was a high pick in the draft for a reason. Just don't rule out the 6'3", 225-pound quarterback on having a great year. But I want to get you guys involved now on today's show. Give me a number for Sam Darnold's Madden rating. Scale it for me 1 through 99. As it stands right now, probably give Sam Darnold about a 74, 75 overall. Maybe I'll go a little higher. Maybe I'll go 77. But you guys let me know on on Sam Darnold and what his Madden rating will be heading into the season. Scale it 1 through 99. Coming up next here on the show, Mark Wilf, Vikings owner, had some very interesting quotes about them trading up. But we'll get to that in a second. But first, I want to give a big-time shout-out to today's sponsor, and that is Game Time. If you guys download the Game Time app and use promo code CHATSPORTS, we will hook you guys up with $20 off your first purchase. Game Time, it has killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets, and it is no doubt the best ticket purchasing app out there. Whether you guys want to get tickets to a Timberwolves game, Minnesota Wild game, whatever it may be, go see some college basketball if you're near any of the venues that are hosting March Madness. But if you guys haven't already, download the Game Time app, use code ChatSports. We'll hook you guys up with $20 off. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So does Vikings ownership, are they all in on trading up in this year's draft class? Let's talk about it, because you need both sides on the same kind of page here. And this is actually what Mark Wilf had to say, kind of giving the green light to Kwesi on trading up. He says, we love Sam Darnold, but when it comes to the quarterback position, it's certainly critical. Kwesi and Coach O'Connell are working hard. We've got a plan. And Sam Darnold is a part of it. We're excited he's in the building, and we're excited we have 2 first-round picks. We will see where it all goes. A lot of flexibility, and we'll see what happens. And just listening to this, like, you could tell, like, the smile on his face, if you guys haven't seen the clip, like, he wants to trade up so bad. And I think he kind of hinted at the plan Minnesota has. It's going to be the draft a quarterback high in this year's class, have him sit behind Darnold, whether it's for 4 games, 12 games, or the entire season, or maybe even 2 years, and pull a Green Bay Packers route. But no doubt, the Vikings ownership, the Wilfs, have given Kwesi the green light to trade up in this year's draft. Now, I do want to get from Kevin Seifert, because he was talking about the overall coaching changes in the building in Minnesota. Obviously, bringing in Josh McCown and having Wes Phillips continue to develop. He said this to say around some changes. He said O'Connell would transfer some of his weekly responsibilities to OC Wes Phillips, so that he can spend more time with QBs alongside new position coach Josh McCown. And I think that's a great kind of plan for the Vikings, because, you know, if you do draft a rookie quarterback, you would want Kevin O'Connell and Josh McCown to be in that young dude's ear as much as you can, even if he is sitting. So maybe it'll be more like in the season when Sam Darnold's starting, where it's more of a Wes Phillips and QB1 Sam Darnold at the time, talking about game plan, talking about script, and then Kevin O'Connell and Josh McCown are more behind the scenes grooming this young quarterback. And here's my prediction as it stands right now. I think the Vikings are going to draft JJ McCarthy after trading up to pick 4. I don't think they're going to risk trading up with the Chargers and then having, you know, it go quarterback. Then you're sitting there and you really don't know what to do with pick number 5. And then after they draft JJ, I think they're going to sit him the entire season. Even if Sam Darnold goes 0-16 in that last week of the year, last game of the year, I still think they would roll out Sam Darnold. Just let the man cook. Let Kevin O'Connell and Josh McCown cook behind the scenes and really groom a young quarterback and sandpaper his game. I think that's the best choice for the Vikes, and that's what I think is going to happen. But I absolutely love the way the Vikings coaching staff is shaking out right now. We obviously know what Brian Flores is going to do on that side of football. We know what Kevin O'Connell's about on the offensive side. Now with Josh McCown, Wes Phillips, all these great football minds, you guys grade it for me. Go back to school. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. Grade the Vikings coaching staff as it stands right now. And as always, guys, if you guys aren't subscribed, I don't know what you are doing. Help us reach 25K here on the channel. If you guys haven't already, lock us in. Go right down there. Free and easy way to help support the show. And maybe we can hit 25K here shortly. But thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. See you guys next time. Appreciate every single one of you comments and just giving me your thoughts, because it's awesome. Best part of my day, going down in the comment section, chopping up with you guys. But we'll see you all next time. As always, Skol Vikes. All right, grade it for me. Vikings coaching staff, as Jessica is giving it an A. Wes Phillips. Yeah. Romel McDowell giving it an A. Tyman giving it an A. Eric, what up, Eric? How you doing? Giving it a B+. V Lyle saying, who are we going to get at QB? The world may never know, man. The world may never know, but we're trying to connect some dots here on the show. Eric Mott giving it an A. Skull Nation giving it an A+. Tom Lyles only giving it a C. Tom going the other way here. But appreciate you guys getting active. And guys, last call for this. We are going to be doing our March giveaway for our raffle item next show. But this is the last time you guys can get involved. So every $10 super chat, it gets you a raffle ticket. and we'll sign your name on our Vikings Now board. This thing is freaking awesome. If you guys kind of want to be cemented in Vikings Now history here at the channel, we already got a ton of real ones on the other side, but we're breaking out this side of the board today. So if you guys want to support the show and, help keep the lights on a little bit here at Vikings Now, because being fully transparent, a big reason we're able to go live during our weekly live shows or during the week now, during the off season, is because of super chats that came in during the year. And if we just continue to kind of build this monster here at Vikings Now, we're going to be able to do a whole lot more here at Chat Sports. So shout out to everybody who's already done so. If you haven't already, help support the show. Now we're going to be getting into a mailbag. Also, we got an update on Justin Jefferson here on his contract that I want to get to you guys. But if you guys got a question, use hashtag Vikings, so it allows our software to pull the question. Or you guys can super chat. Even if we're midway through the mailbag, you guys send in a super chat. It will be the first one that gets thrown up on screen. As Rune in the chat. What up, Rune? Rune's going B+. Okay, yeah. If you guys could get a question in there, hashtag Vikings or super chat, you guys will get on screen right away. Tony saying A, Joe saying A, Zam Fam saying A as well for a grade for the coaching staff. Yeah, get those questions in there. I would really, really appreciate it. Shout out to Jefferson Solos. What up, Seeps? What up, Rune? How you doing? But we're going to get you guys this Jefferson contract update and also answer your questions here right now. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. We got a contract update around Justin Jefferson that's going to start today's show. Then at the back half of today's show, we're going to answer your questions that you guys ask in our live show every single Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. But let's kick it to big man on campus, Kevin O'Connell, and he had this to say about Justin Jefferson, just kind of everything that's going on here in this kind of QB drama. He said he's been informed. He's been in the loop. He's been aware. That's really been through this whole process, and this is just great news because we got the report early on this offseason that Jefferson's not going to sign that extension unless he knows the plan at quarterback. Well, it seems like the Vikings took that to heart, and they've been keeping him in the loop of every single step of this process, which is a great decision. I would be doing the same because he is the best damn receiver in the National Football League, and I think people, I'm honestly starting to forget how good he is. I mean, the dude's got 5,600 yards already in his career throughout 58 games, already 106 yards per game, most in NFL history, 29 touchdowns, over 375 receptions. The dude's an absolute baller, and he was the catalyst to the Vikings winning 13 games a couple years ago. But Charlie Walters had this to say of what a potential contract could look like for Justin Jefferson. He said the Vikings drafting a QB will be very affordable for 3 years, allowing the team the anticipated $150 million deal with over $75 million guaranteed for wide receiver Justin Jefferson. And don't be scared about paying him because, I could talk about him being the best receiver in the National Football League. I think he's the best non-quarterback in the NFL as it stands right now, but it's just the off-the-field stuff with Justin Jefferson. I mean, he has never once given me any doubt in my mind that he's going to go diva, that he's going to make this about him. He has been so clear that winning is his number one priority, and I've just been outstanding and just impressed with who he's kind of grown up to be in the NFL, and I think his best is yet to come. I mean, going for 14 yards his rookie year, he's gotten better and better each season, and I just can't wait to see that finished product in maybe 2 seasons, 3 seasons, when he is truly at his athletic prime. He's seen every NFL coverage. He's seen every, DB alignment. This dude's going to be a killer. But let's send a message to the Vikings front office real quick. Maybe one of them is watching today's video. I want you guys to get loud in the comment section. If you want Jay Jettas to get extended, type his jersey number, type those 18s down below, because nothing else would make me happier than seeing Justin Jefferson get locked up here long term. So spam those 18s down in the chat. Show the Vikings front office a message. But we kick it to Zam Fam as he's coming in with a $2 super chat, just supporting the show as he's just saying, Skol Vikes. We appreciate it, Zam Fam. Thank you guys so much as part of our weekly live show. Showed out to you. But then Joey Tana coming in saying, who do you like, Latu Latu or Dallas Turner? Out of those two, I'm probably leaning Dallas Turner just my initial thoughts. Latu's a great player, man. He's got a really cool story as well. But, maybe this is a situation where the Vikings are sitting there at 11-23 and they don't end up trading up, and they're saying we can go get Michael Penix or Bo Nix at the 23rd pick, and you're sitting there at 11, still with a sort of need at that edge rusher spot. You go get a guy like Dallas Turner, pair him up with Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel, all three very, very versatile players. I think Brian Flores would have a field day with those three, but if I had to pick out of those two, I would lead Dallas Turner. He just pops off the screen every single time I turned on some Bama tape this season. But we'll get to more questions from the real ones here in a second. But I want to tell you guys about today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. If you guys download the Prize Picks app and enter promo code CLNS, we'll hook you guys up with a first deposit match up to $100. What is Prize Picks? It's daily fantasy sports made easy, and you choose more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections. Even though the football season may be over, they got basketball plays all over the hardwood, whether it's college hoops, March Madness, or the NBA with the playoff push kind of fully coming to fruition here. Make sure you guys download Prize Picks, start playing today. And I actually have a season-long projection here at Prize Picks. You guys can make the plays for the entire year, and I'm taking the less on Kirk Cousins at 4,099.5 passing yards. Kind of a dig at old Vikings quarterback. But then I'm also taking more on Christian McCaffrey, 5 receiving touchdowns, and also I'm taking more on C.J. Stroud at 26.5 passing touchdowns this season. Whether you guys want to fade those picks or ride those picks, I just encourage you guys do so at Prize Picks. Make sure you guys check them out, prizepicks.com/CLNS, and use promo code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Get hooked up today. Link for that in the comment section and description of today's show. William coming in with Super Chat. What's up, William? Or with a question. He says, do you think the NFC North is going to be the most competitive and exciting division in the NFL next season? First off, most exciting, no doubt. The NFC North is going to be an absolute bloodbath this season. I think the Green Bay Packers and Detroit Lions are really primed to be top 7 teams in the NFL, and I really do mean that. Like, if you just look at what they did next year and just kind of project where their rosters and where their teams are going to be, they're going to be absolute wagons. And then you got the Chicago Bears. I think people think the Bears were a terrible football team last season because they had the number 1 overall pick, but that was from the Carolina Panthers. They went 7-10. Once they traded for Montez Sweat, their defense turned around. They got Keenan Allen. They're going to bring in Caleb Williams and whoever they get at pick 9. And then you got the Vikings sitting there with a great roster around whoever that quarterback's going to be for next season. So I think no doubt it's going to be the most exciting, most competitive. I'd probably go us or the AFC North. I think the AFC North still gets that nod just because of, that's a wagon over there. They got 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league, and, the Browns, probably one of the most complete rosters, and the Steelers. I mean, they just don't go below 500. But appreciate the question, William. Skull Nation's coming up next saying we should sign Xavier Howard. Yeah, I'd be all in. Obviously familiar with Brian Flores. They had a connection over there in Miami. And, the Vikings, I like the move of Shaquille Griffin, bringing him in this offseason. But there's still a need, definitely, for the true number 1 corner. So, yeah, signing Xavier Howard, I'd be all in. I think it would just add more depth to this cornerback room. But I wouldn't want that to kind of hinder the development of guys like Mekhi Blackman as well. Kicking it to Kwesi's burner here, saying, are the Vikings going to bring back Dalton Risner? I knew I was going to get asked about this. Yeah, Dalton Risner. So right now, the favorite, this is actually according to Paul Allen as well, to start at left guard for the Vikings is Blake Brandel. But obviously, if Dalton Risner comes back, I'm assuming it's going to be him. I thought he was great last year for the Vikings. He really came onto the scene hot. When he first got put in the lineup, the Vikings were like number 1 in pass and run blocking win rate for like 3 straight games when he was brought in. So yeah, I'd bring him in at left guard. It's going to come down to money. He's been kind of complaining on Twitter that like the market for him is not as big as he thought it would be. And obviously last season it wasn't really that big of a market, but he's made it clear he wants to be back in Minnesota. And obviously, I would take him back in a heartbeat. But coming in from Jefferson Solos is he saying, what quarterback do you want for the Minnesota Vikings? So I was actually going to do a video just kind of eventually in the future, just like who I think is the best fit for Minnesota. But I'm down with 2 guys. I think it's either Drake Maye or JJ McCarthy. If if I had to pick one right now, I'd rather go the JJ McCarthy route and, trade 11 and 23, trade up to 4 instead of trading 11, 23 next year's first and trade up for Drake Maye. But, either or, if the Vikings end up with either of these top 4 quarterbacks in this year's draft class, I am absolutely all in on that. Coming in from Christopher Wilson, he says, make the move now. Not one of the 2025 quarterbacks would be in the top 6. Yeah, and I totally agree. And, with where the Vikings are at, I'm not scared of giving up future draft capital to sign or to trade up for a quarterback, mainly because, they got a ton of cap space next season. And, even if you have to give up next year's first, which, besides quarterback, I actually love the draft class next season, but you just kind of got to do it all, or you got to do whatever you can to trade up in this year's class. I really do believe so. Go land one of your top 4 guys. Just don't risk it, man. Because I don't want to be sitting here draft night and we're picking, a corner and an edge at 11 and 23. And they may turn out to be great players and everything, but quarterback moves the needle more than any other position in the NFL. So, Chris, I do whatever it takes. Trade up for a quarterback this year. But coming in from Catherine saying re-sign Justin Jefferson. Catherine, literally when I tuned in, I looked down at my phone just to make sure they did not. But I'm assuming you're just saying they should. Yeah, I 100% think they should. It's probably going to come after the draft, though. But Harvey Buxton, what up, Harvey, in the chat, showing love. He's saying, what do you think of the new kickoff? I absolutely love it. Absolutely love this move. Actually, new Vikings kicker, John Parker Romo, he's already used to the new kickoff rules because he played with them last season. But I'm just thinking about a guy like Kene Nwangwu, allow him to just really just make one cut, get upfield, and try to burn a bunch of guys. I think we're going to see, and maybe it affects this year's draft class where guys just take sprinters in the 6th and 7th round, where it's dudes just run 4.2s. And we're just like, hey, we're putting you back there, and we're just going to hope you make a splash play. Think of a guy like Kevontae Turpin for the Cowboys. He had so much more value now. And now even a guy like Tyreek Hill, I wonder if Tyreek's saying to the Dolphins, I'll be your kick returner. So, Harvey, I absolutely love these moves that the NFL is making. Honestly, all of them. Hip drop tackle, don't know how that's going to work. That's a little shady. Saw something funny on Twitter. It was I can see it now. Chiefs down in the playoffs. 3rd and 25, season on the line, and then flag, hip drop tackle, Chiefs move on to the Super Bowl. I thought that was pretty funny. But thank you guys so much for watching today's show. If you guys made it to the end, just give me a skull down in the comment section. We appreciate all of you guys tuning in, showing support on the channel. If you guys watch this whole thing, let me know where the real ones are at. Give me a skull down below. And as always, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. See you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, Skull Vikes. All right, appreciate all of you guys. Skulls coming in the chat from Harvey, Reynaldo saying Skull, MM saying Skull, Time and the Buckeye. Shout out to you, all you guys tuning in. And yeah, I appreciate it. But we're going to do last call for this. I'm going to put a 2-minute timer on my phone right now. So last chance to get the haul or get in on the raffle ticket to win this sweet little Vikings nightstand spin around thingy. I don't really know what to call it. But yeah, last chance, $10 super chat. We'll get you guys a ticket. If you guys could, that would be awesome. And you guys will also join the Hall of Fame. Scolger Soup saying, wait, did we trade up? Not yet. But Paul Allen necessarily said the Vikings already have a deal done. Ty Man saying Skull. Shout out to all you guys. Had almost 3,000 people tune in with us during the live shows. That's freaking awesome. Really do appreciate it. But if you guys do want to get involved, we're doing last call right now. Get you guys a ticket. We got about a minute left here. A minute left, and we're going to sign on out of here. Head over, and we're going to be going live on our Saints channel here at Chat Sports if you guys want to check that out. If you guys got nothing else going on. But this is what we are giving away next, the live show. A $10 super chat gets you a raffle ticket to get involved. 40 more seconds to get in and, get a raffle ticket. Skull, man, you got a new regular for sure. Great channel. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Just doing what I can here. Obviously, it's been a ton of rumors around this football team. As Harvey Buxton coming in, getting in on the fun. Harvey, I'll write your name on this side of the board as well. I'll put you right under Roger Bong here. Harvey coming in. We appreciate it, my friend. There you go. Look at that. Look at that big 3 right there. Roger Bong, Seeps, and Harvey Buxton. Shout out to you. Ty Man wants on both sides. Hey, if somebody sends in a 10 for my man Ty Man, we'll put him on the board. We'll put him on the board. Yeah, but last call to get in on this. Harvey, we'll make sure you get some raffle tickets in there. Jose Pacheco, great name, saying Skull in the chat. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. But yeah, we are going to have the video coming out in about an hour talking about what Paul Allen had to say that the Vikings necessarily had a handshake deal done. Yeah. But we got 10 more seconds here, and then we're going to sign on off as Case on Hub saying, we want May. Oh, give me Drake Maye, man. Give me either of these guys, and I'm just getting excited. But last call here, and then we're going to sign off. Roger, you're all good. Thank you so much for showing support on the channel. As always, as Kissy in the chat, K Skull T saying Skull Vikings fam. Shout out to you. Shout out to you always tuning in, commenting on every video. I definitely do appreciate it. But we are going to sign off here, everybody. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Great show today. Thank you guys so much. Roger saying Skull all. Yes, Skull all to you guys. And we'll be live for the NFL Draft. I cannot wait for that. Harvey saying Skull. Shout out to you. Sion Saints, yes, we will. Yes, we will. Miguel saying, I want Jayden Daniels. I would love Jayden Daniels as well. Either of those guys, I am throwing a party here on the channel. Skull Nation saying, Skull Patrick, shout out to you for always tuning in, Skull Nation. I want you guys all to tune in for the video coming out here on the channel in about an hour. We appreciate it. But we'll see you guys next time. As always, Skull Vikes.